My name is Sheena, and today is July 17th, 2024, and this is our weekly prayer for the Way of Namaste. Let's go ahead and arrive in this moment, bringing awareness to our breath, maybe softening our gaze or closing down our eyes if that feels in alignment for us. And just beginning to become aware of our breath. Maybe allowing in a deeper inhale. Maybe inviting in a pause at the top. And maybe exhaling to soften and release, maybe with a sigh. I invite you to do that in your own rhythm, in your own divine time, just becoming aware of your breath, just dropping deeper into this moment. This week we are in Gene 63. This is the Shadow of Intellect. This is the gift of precision. And this is the divine expression or city of impeccability. And it's interesting to see intellect as a shadow here. And this is the evolutionary journey that our species is going on right now, shifting our intellect from operating from our mind to dropping down into our heart and feeling through our body, becoming more one with our environment, becoming more sensitive to the needs of our environment. Today we have the sun in Cancer, we have the moon in Sagittarius, and Cancer brings us into our feeling bodies. Cancer is often concerned with relationships and home, family more specifically, and home, and matters of the heart. It's part of our emotional realm. Today our moon is in Sagittarius, and Sagittarius invites us into that youthful folly within us, our eternal child that lives and breathes us. Sagittarius loves to go on adventures, and in the spirit of impeccability, I invite us into an adventure today. Let's come back into our breath now. Deeply inhaling all the way from the base of our pelvic form, expanding and feeling our ribs cage expand. And exhaling, deeply releasing. Impeccability of our word now means telling the truth. And telling the truth is a gift that comes from the spirit of Sagittarius. It's also a gift that comes from our inner child, who always tells the truth, even when we don't like what the truth is. Because a child feels into the environment. It doesn't ask for permission to express. A child is unfiltered. It doesn't know that it is being rude by some society's standards when it just experiences and expresses what it experiences. And sometimes in our society today, we are shamed or blamed or judged for sharing our authentic experiences. And that's why I've cultivated the Way of Namaste, because it is part of my prayer to be a space holder and to provide spaces where we can be authentic with our message, where we can feel safe to express. And even when telling the truth is not saying the most polite or kind thing, it's honoring the truth of what is in the way that's most compassionate, in a way that has the most grace. I invite us to be kind with ourselves today and kind with our inner child, with the truth that she speaks. How can we learn to listen to our body when it's expressing fear and not run away? This week, in the gift of precision, I'm mindful of my words, recognizing that my word is my wand. And when we start to understand the etymology of our words, we speak different. We recognize that we are constantly spell casting, and we shift our language so that we can cast blessings and not curses. And by changing our language, we often become aware of just how many curses are actually in existence through our everyday language. How often do we share a curse word? How often do we gossip and maintain a low vibration just to try and maintain harmony with someone, thinking that we have to sell someone else out? What if actually the spaces that we are creating more and more of don't ask us to sell anyone out, but ask us to belong to none other than ourselves first and foremost, so that we can learn to be with all aspects, all archetypes, all essences, all limitless potentials that our shadow expresses, and learn to love, and learn to have compassion, and learn to have empathy, and learn to be sensitive with the needs of not only our environment, but the environment of the needs of those around us. Because when we wake up on this journey, it doesn't mean that everyone else is going to wake up with us. But what it does means is that we can be graceful, and we can allow everyone to pop through in their own divine time. When we stay impeccable with our frequency, we get to revisit, we get to remember, we get to reunify with all aspects of ourselves throughout all time and all space. And we may recognize in this quantum field that there are simultaneous versions of ourselves living concurrent lifetimes. Some of them may feel like they are inhabiting different bodies. Some of them may be in different relationships. Some of them may live in different places and call another person or place home. When we come into our breath, let's do that now, breathing deeply in. And out. We get to come home back to ourselves. All version of ourselves. All versions of our loved ones. Recognizing that we are a multi-dimensional being, and therefore we are multi-dimensionally living in multiple times and spaces that we are now just becoming more and more aware of. You know, in the Gene Keys, they share that the collective frequency around our shadow has a similar fear, and it's the fear of death. And today, in the spirit of Sagittarius, I invite us to actually lean all the way in to that fear. Today, I've been presented with a scene, a script, and I'm going to share that script. This is from a TV show that came out in 2021 called Midnight Mass. It was a Netflix limited series, And I was so captivated and riveted by the last episode. And in the spirit of impeccability, our sun sign in Cancer, our moon sign in Sagittarius, I invite us to come home to ourselves and to go beyond time and space to the boundlessness of our nature. And here we are one. And here we don't have to fear death, because here in our essence we learn to transcend death, recognizing death is just a passage, a place we come to in which we will start again. And in this scene, the character Riley asks Aaron, "So what do you think happens when we die, Aaron?" And Aaron, who has passed through, connects now to share about the journey of dying. Aaron Green says, "Speaking for myself, speaking for yourself." Myself. That's the problem. That's the whole problem with the whole thing. That word, self, that's not the word. That's not right. It isn't. How did I forget that? When did I forget that? The body stops a cell at a time, but the brain keeps firing those neurons, these little lightning bolts like fireworks inside. And I thought I'd despair or feel afraid, but I don't feel any of that. None of it, because I'm too busy. I'm too busy in this moment remembering. Of course. I remember that every atom in my body was forged in a star. This matter, this body, is mostly just empty space after all, and solid matter. It's just energy vibrating very slowly, and there is no me. There never was. The electrons of my body mingle and dance with the electrons of the ground below me and the air I'm no longer breathing. And I remember there's no point where any of that ends and I begin. I remember I am energy, not memory, not self. My name, my personality, my choices all came after me. I was before them, and I will be after, and everything else is pictures picked up along the way, fleeting little dreamlets printed on the tissue of my dying brain. And I am the lightning that jumps between. I am the energy firing the neurons, and I'm returning just by remembering. I'm returning home. And it's like a drop of water falling back into the ocean of which it's always been a part. All things a part. All of us a part. You, me, and my little baby, and my mother and my father, everyone who's ever been, every plant, every animal, every atom, every star, every galaxy, all of it. More galaxies in the universe than grains of sand on the beach. And that's what we're talking about when we say God, the one, the cosmos and its infinite dreams. We are the cosmos, dreaming of itself. It's simply a dream that I think is my life every time, but I'll forget this. I always do. I always forget my dreams. But now, in this split second, in the moment I remember, the instant I remember, I comprehend everything at once. There is no time. There is no death. Life is a dream. It's a wish made again and again and again and again and again and on into eternity. And I am all of it. I am everything. I am all. I am that I am. And now maybe just taking a hand and placing it on your heart and taking another breath deeply in and repeating that to ourselves. I am that I am, that I am. And in your own time and in your own rhythm, coming back into this moment, into the dimensional reality that is perfectly aligned for you now, recognizing that there are simultaneous versions of us and simultaneous dimensions, and at any point, in any time, we can access the multi-dimensional field to pull out the exact vibrational resonance to which we feel most in alignment. Sometimes grabbing in from the quantum field the version of us that feels more empowered. Sometimes grabbing the version of us that feels more motivated. Sometimes tapping into the version of ourselves that is sovereign, that is sacred. Sometimes tapping into the multidimensional version of ourselves that is opulent, that is timeless. Sometimes tuning into the multidimensional version of ourselves that is young, that is in a different environment, in a different place, occupying a different space. And at any given moment, we can tap in to become all that I am, that I am, that I am. I love you in all time, space, and dimensions. Namaste.